Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a book review of a book called 100 Artist Manifestos by Danchev. This is a Penguin modern classic. To my left, I have a modern penguin accompanying me during this book review. If anyone is, studies art history between 1900 and 2000, you'll hear about manifestos. There's manifesto after manifesto. One of the first political manifestos is the Communist Manifesto. It seems obvious that these artistic manifestos were inspired by the Communist Manifesto. And basically it's some people who want to declare a new way of doing things. This is 100 of them. And Danchev has collected them. And I'm grateful that he did it, because it's hard to find these. And you find them separately in other books, but you never find them all together. So this is a very, very convenient book for people studying art history. Now, as far as just general reading, I'm going to talk about that a little more coming up. Here's some of the names of the people who wrote these manifestos. So when I was reading these, I started thinking, what are the similarities between the manifestos? And one of them is they're all kind of written in this kind of godlike voice, this authoritative voice, and a very declarative voice. And the second thing I noticed is that the author, in a general way, declares the way things are at the present time. Then the author declares the failure of this general description of what's going on in this current time. And then the author proceeds to say what this particular manifesto proposes. That's the general setup for these. Another general thing about them is that they all reject history. They all say history is garbage. Forget the old things, forget history. Now personally, I like history. I like art history. And I see so much modern art that's so repulsive to me and so boring. And I just get depressed when I go to a lot of modern art galleries that I want to see art. And so I go back to history and find a lot of art that I'm interested in. Art from all around the world, art from, from all times. And I like this type of art, and it keeps me interested in art. So for me, I think my criticism of these artists is that they all misunderstand history. And what I think might have happened is that when they were taught history, it was taught so poorly, and it was taught in such a boring manner that they just rejected it outright. It was just so. I kind of blame it on their educational system, the way that history was approached in society, whereby they felt a need to reject all of it. Because if they had been really looking at it, and they really had artistic eyes and looked at aesthetics, they would see how wonderful much of the art is from the past. So also the writing of these, like I said, it's not, if you're an art historian, you got to read this because you have to know about manifestos. But just for purely entertainment value, they don't have much value. The writing is very mediocre. It's below average. A lot of the manifestos, they don't work together. Each sentence is kind of separate. They lack logic. They're very emotional, and they lack reasoning. So they don't have much value just for the general reader. These manifestos are instructive to learn what was going on. Certainly if you are interested in one of the specific artists, you want to read what they're thinking, and you might get some insight into what they were thinking. And so now I kind of want to move on to my thoughts on manifesto, because I am an artist and I have thought about these manifestos, and kind of my general feeling about them is that in the years from the 1900s to the 2000s was a millennia of experimentation. They rejected all the art from the past and they wanted to start all over. So I kind of divide it between the first 50 years, 1900 to 1950, and I pretty much like most of the experimental work that was done during this time. But then when I look at from 1950 to the year 2000, there's a lot of kind of experimental work, and there's a lot of it that I don't like. And I'd have to go through each one to tell you what I like and why I don't like it. But that's my general overview of the last 100 years of art. But I do think one of the reasons why being an artist is so difficult is because you must kind of create your own system of art. It's extremely difficult to do. It's extremely difficult to be a standout artist these days. I enjoy looking at history, and I think that can help me in the future, but I certainly don't want to take a historical artist and go from them. I might learn some things from them, but I have to create my own system, and that's why it's so difficult. And also because when you look at the artists from the past, it's very intimidating. You can feel like you look at an artist from the past, and you can feel like that's the only way to do it, the way that artist did it. I can never do it better. A new artist must think that the difference between me and the artist from the past is I'm alive today. I'm alive in 2022. So that I am different than that artist from the past. I am in a new environment. I am a unique person in the history of art. And I think you should carry that with you if you want to create art. So I made a declaration, a mathematical equation of what I think about art. And this mathematical equation is creativity plus infinity equals divinity. So here is the equation of my manifesto. Creativity plus infinity equals divinity. Thanks for watching.